Hello, last time we have studied about the file handling, and today we will learn about the exception handling. So exception handling is why so necessary. So whatever we are writing our code, make sure that code would be executed from topmost line to the end line. So it is our responsibility to being a programmer, so our code should run correctly from start to till the end point. So uh, might be there is a so many error comes in this process. So make sure we have uh, handle all the error previously, so it can't be affect in a production phase. So let's see how many exceptions we usually get, and how to handle this. So likewise, here you can see here, while true, print hello world, all the things has been written on a one single line, even though it is correct right now, and some colon has been missed here. So we got here file standard input line, such kind of error here. So usually we see the error types. So when we are dividing, when doing some operation, that is devising, that is division operation, there when we divide with 0 means there is an infinite, as usual we have learned in our mathematics. But here you will get such kind of error, that is 0 division error. So you can't be divide any number by 0. So and some other error you also find, like name error. So whenever you have defined a function and then you call the global variable, even though you have not taken that global value in argument, so that time you will find name error and indentation error. As earlier we have seen about our many program there in a Python, our program will work on the basis of indentation. Without indentation, it will can't understand. Sorry, it can't understand. So make sure indentation would be proper way to handle all the scenario. And if indentation is not correct, as earlier we have seen about the indentation rule, we have done for loop operation. Then after that we have written some other thing up outside the body that will execute it in else condition. So here is also such kind of problem. But in another language like C programming, there is not necessary to you have to take care of the indentation. Your curly braces handle all the things. So here is no any concept about the curly braces, so make sure need to be properly maintain your indentation. And IO error, so when sometimes input and output operation will not happen correct way, so that means you got IO error. And then EOF, so EOF stands for, earlier we have written about that, EF, end of file. So here you can see EF stand for end of file, means your operation has been reached at last number of file, but sometime running operation is going on, so that time you will found this kind of error. So make sure your code execution and operation will be coincide to each other. So let's see how it will give the error. I definitely get syntax error. So I am not getting here a quick execution just because of our Jupyter notebook is initializing right now, and this is a collab, so it needs some time to connect with Google server. After first time execution it will quick, and then we got same thing, invalid syntax. So you can see, as earlier seen about the what kind of error, we seen only 3-4 error, but here is list of error. So assertion error when we have provided something else like false condition, but in assertion we knew about that true value is only passed. That time you will found that assertion error. And attribute error, so your attribute assignment is failed, means whatever you have defined your variable, that is not properly defined. So here is so many errors like assertion, attribute error, UF error, floating point error, generator exit, import error, index error, key error, keyboard interrupt, memory error, name error, not implemented error, OS error, overflow error, reference error, runtime error, spot iteration, syntax error, indentation error, tab error, system error, system exit error, type error, unbound local error, unicode error, uni encoded error, uni decoded error, uni translate error, value error, and zero division error. So this is the list of the error type, and here is the explanation of the all error, what the mean of this error. So whenever you have chance to get this error, you should handle that, so your code would run properly. So exception handling, why it is necessary. So sometime also happens, we provided some our file or anything variables, there something has been not went right way, so like file extension has been changed, or something else has been happen, or file not has been recognized. So that time your entire code will first of all it will run from top to bottom, and then after it will give you error. So that time you will wonder where it where exception has been executed, and you won't be able to find easily. So that time we need to go with try and except, so our next operation will never affected by this such a this exception. So we need to handle all the things. So sometimes it also happens, so if you are not maintain your exceptions handling, so that time it would be some another operation will happen and your code will be busted out. So there is so many loss you can face if you are running your organization, or you are trying to make your product which is essential for local human. It is not dummy project yet. So let's see, we want to be to input A and B, and then we want to be divided. So this operation will run correctly, but when we divide with 0 it will give some error. So that time we need to we find out where error it happens and what would be the possibility. So we have to handle all the error. So let's see, we have like 1, okay, and then we will give 3, then Okay, we have not printed yet what is C, so let it run. Okay, this, but when we give the another input that is 0, then we will get can't divide with 0. So we have handled all the things. So likewise you can also uh, print out your error name as well. So earlier we have taken some input, and then after that we divided it. So let's see, first of all give incorrect input, then exception, 0 division block divided by 0 not accepted. So you have mentioned your division error as well. So let's see division by 0, why it happens, what the problem of this error. So you will get uh, complete information if you want to be what is the error there. So by this way, by formatting method, you can write it your error as well. So we have seen here try and accept error, but here mention only one error, but you can also mention multiples of error at one line. So like input error, or like division 0 division error, or so many error we have earlier studied about in this list. So you can write whatever the possible error we will found in this code. You should write here, and then you have to maintain, and you have to collect those logs where you find that error, so you can handle in a future, or it might be useful for you to see where your code has been failed. So multiple try whatever the operation you want to be, then accept, and whatever the exceptions you want to be, write it here. You can write it in this by the separated of the comma argument, and this is the last else statement. So if try word, so let's remove it. So I do not want to run it here, I want to run it in a last where we have discussed about. Then we will see the raise here, and then we will learn about the next thing in the next class, just because of we have left out very few very few time. So we will discuss next thing next day, just because of we have left less time. So raise, if you want to be raise some error, so whatever like you have done some operation, and you do not want to write a try and accept such kind of formatted, but you still want to be know that error. So you can see here you have written here some condition, and you definitely know so whatever the condition you have written here, so make sure people should write it in give the input in integer. So that time if input is not integer, then you should raise your whatever the exception to the end user, so they can't write it. So here you can see we have raised it, and we want to take some input as well. So okay, write it here. And why we are Okay, only integer. We got error. So earlier we have giving to input our x integer, so they can't provide whatever the we want to be raised here. So we given here a string only, so we have excluded our int, so we do not want to convert it int. So we have earlier seen about also, so whenever you are getting input by the input method, so you usually get a string format. So if you want to be converted in int, so you need to write it here at initial level int function, then you will get int integer. So if integer, then there is no issue. If not integer, then you will raise, you should only write only integer. So I think correct code we have written here, but still we need to update it. Okay, so that's all today, and we will come tomorrow with next session, which is forward of exception handling. So that's all today. Thank you.